Hi guys. Hi everyone. We are Homeward. So I just wanted to start out saying that one of the biggest things that happened this semester is our team has really been growing. We added 2 new artists, one of them represented by a penguin pictured here. Another artist that we added is there as well, and there's a couple that aren't even pictured. But basically we've just been able to reach out to a lot of different people and get the art team going, and you'll see some of that immediately. But first I wanted to talk about the level design and how we decided to scope down from a much vaster, low quality sort of exploratory experience to a much more straightforward and like concise experience. So here's a screenshot of the level layout.
Yeah, so the designers and I had the difficult task of getting all these complex systems together in a really awesome level. So one of the first things we did after the last showing in our last presentation was actually talk about the scope and how we really rather do a really small, awesome experience than a really long object. So we had a couple of kind of like little black ops like design teams, and then the design team that did the coolest thing or something that was pretty fun. It turned out to be the heat section is what we chose to do for demo day. And so the complex systems that actually we are going to be using here include things like exploration, exploration and finding cool interactable objects, as well as solving some puzzles with a character Daisy, which we'll talk about in a second. As well as probably the hardest part, tell a story, which we're trying to go for something kind of simple here, but that still shows the themes of the game. That is the themes going back home. So we'll now talk about a little bit of character.
Cool. So one of the other big things we did this semester, aside from that big black circle, is work on the character art. There it goes. Sorry, Open Office is really cool. This is all the art that we did for Milo since the midterm. And we've had a temp Milo in for a long time, but this is part of our art hiring process. We got a couple more concept artists on, and you can kind of see we moved that way towards, this is basically our final Milo here. And we got a great animator from the guide program named Eric, who unfortunately couldn't be here today to do that final piece of work. And then also we've been moving forward with Daisy, both artistically and mechanically, but on the next slide we have some of Daisy's new art, even though she's black.
Alright, so with Daisy's art, we basically go for, she is a she first. So whatever shape she's going to be, she looks female in some way. And also she's a robot, she's really powerful. So we give her this kind of shape, which is, you can see the black and also squirty kind of style on her, or which give her the kind of a light feeling, and also give her a chance to transform into different shapes we want. And as well as have this little cute flower on the back.
So these are the 2 final designs, even though this is game art, so they're kind of blown up, that we came up with for Milo and Daisy. This is first pass art that we've done just for demo day, and we're going to keep iterating on it because we're super attached to the main characters and want to make sure that they absolutely shine. So also I wanted to talk a little bit about the world that we're having presenting for demo day and some of the context. This is all also aside from the NPC art by some of our new artists. And in this theme, it's sort of where we picked this level because it's kind of where the tone of the game first shifts from being about exploration and just recklessly having fun to noticing that there's something wrong in this world. So the theme of our whole level is nothing is as it seems. So you see these planets that are kind of half destroyed and like the first sort of evidence of from civilization.
And you can see from it, we're going with the theme of the dragon. So the color is red and yellow, and everybody on this planet basically worship dragon. And we're trying to convey the narrative on here, which is they worship dragon. And what happened before them? And is there a real dragon there before? And what would Milo do with that? And how would he interact? How would he bring these people home? How would he command us? How would he just fix all the problems to stay with people, or just leave? That is the information here.
The answer to those questions will be during demo day. So I think the next slide is to the game. The first section here, this is our entire layout for demo day, but the first section is without art. It's in gray box right now, and I'll show you some sketches of what it'll be. Does that look good? Yeah, if we can. the interaction mechanic and also the exploration mechanic. And if I can find my mouse, she's also a kind of guide in that she allows the player to get a wider perspective on the world. Because it's an exploration game and you want to kind of have Daisy back up. Right now she just doesn't move with it, but she'll sort of back up with the character and be like, no, Milo, it's over there. So let me just go through the exploring, and then Tej can talk about some of what the programming hurdles for this semester have been. Okay.
Right, so when we started off with the semester, we had this highly kind of disorganized code and we had a huge scope in front of us. So our main focus initially was to set up the controller for Milo and the whole gravity system, because we have a different gravity direction for each and every character in the game based on their position and planet they are on. So task for our mid-semester was to do that, and if you remember it was kind of buggy back then. So we worked on that, and after that we worked on a few NPCs, like the whole NPC system and the system for Milo, as in what state he is in, what he has to do, and then there was, now you can see that the screen where it's red, that's the health system that I don't think it's clearly visible on the screen, but there is a ray system that when Milo gets exposed to the sunlight he gets he dies off, he gets burned, and then he's like the respawn system is we also did after the mid-sem, and so he has to take cover behind clouds and all these things to go across for the Daisy puzzle. We also added features for putting in Daisy puzzles. So right now this is a puzzle in which now Daisy goes inside the planet and now she has to pull the pillar over there so that Milo is not getting hit by the sun rays. And then
And then we're actually going to get to the rodent section in a second. So one of the other things we've been doing is trying to work more to integrate animals into this. This game actually started as kind of very animal focused and sort of about a boy who's exploring like and categorizing these different animals. And so you can see this planet up here. I'm so glad I got to put it on. I think the rodent already escaped me though, because they're getting smarter every day. There it is. Okay, so once you it's a danger. You can see that they'll just kind of go around this, and then this is going to be our node basically for the player to get a rodent to use in the puzzles coming up. Oh, and this is also where they spawn from, even though there's no art, so you can just. And this started out as a bug, but it was so funny that I think we're going to keep it. So I think Milo has a rodent now, or if he doesn't, he knows where to find one. And those will be used later for things like opening doors. Their mechanic right now, as you can see, when you release a rodent, it just sort of goes forward and then burrows after a while, but they'll be used to cut ropes and get hard to find objects. And they'll be acting actually as the trigger for a lot of our new puzzle stuff. So, I'll just go the right way. Yeah. And, okay. Wow, that shifts. So,
Yeah, the rats will probably actually will be used to solve many of the puzzles. So basically, we want the player to explore everything, and until they find the rat, and they can solve the puzzle and get to the next area.
right. And early on, we planned to introduce the rat in that intro section I showed you. When you jump from the non-artist section to the artist section, is basically where Milo was the rat. Here we are. Right after this is a short section where we will, it's without art after, and it's for art for demo day, but it's a short little cinematic where Milo jumps on a moving planet. The functionality of that though fully is something that I don't want to spoil by having you guys see it half done and then having the awesome demo day, but you didn't ever catch it. So come see it then. I just wanted to touch on a couple more things with our, where we're headed with this. I wonder if I could do this without it.
Do shift F5.
Okay, so these are our things for demo day. We have that lovely new planet, which is a spaceship, speech bubble system. If you were watching carefully, when Daisy clicks on the NPC, I don't want to interrupt the text though, she pops up that little white box, and that will be our main method of delivering a lot of narrative. And so it looks more like a speech bubble like that, although that's a speech bubble. And if I have audio, I'd love to play some of the mini cables. Yeah, I'm just, something. So if I have audio, I'd love to play some of this that we just got last night from our composer George Shaw, who's a USC alum in 2002. And I think this is the final track of the mini. So this is what we're going to probably have, like, we take for a lot of the time during demo day. And you can kind of see how it's transitioning to the but again, if you want to hear more tracks, the actual level track is going to be available at demo day. We just have a rough schedule. And then finally, this is what we have for next semester. There's a little bit more art in here, but so as you can see, this is all Unity gray box, and I'm super pumped to get that art done on that. It's going to be our first sort of big city hub area, and it's going to be really interesting to implement something like that. I want to really capture the feel of places like Hyrule City and Windfall and all that kind of stuff, with still having this very free-moving exploratory gameplay. And as you can see, some of the new art is there. And of course, Daisy needs to eventually be able to fly around, so we have our 3D model of her ship in production, but not finished quite yet. And thanks. We're Homeward.
So basically, we made a lot of sections before we came to this. And once we realized this was probably the better section we made, and we wanted to scale it down and make one section really awesome, that's what ended up happening. We had just made a lot, and a lot of unpolished stuff. And we decided to choose on that. A couple of us were just making different sections of what we were planning to be one giant, like, planetary, system. Which would be what we wanted, but it's obviously chosen. So that's what happened. We finished a grid box for that, and we scaled it down.
And more specifically, our pipeline kind of goes just Unity colliders. We have it set up right now so that all the gravity stuff is with that, so it's pretty straightforward to place. And then we play test with the gray box art, and then we just screen cap and write paragraphs and paragraphs of annotation and drawings and stuff, and send that to the artists, and have them do program background.
And once we have the art, then we put all the programs and stuff, and then we do a final pass of it.
Our final pass is what we'll have.
All right, cool.